You are now tuned in to DAR Sports Media, our NBA season finale for a while, but I think we might have a little replacement coming in the works. Another little project we might be working for you guys, but for now, this will probably be the end of the NBA's coverage until they come back, until we start doing divisional previews or futures thoughts in late September, early October. Maybe some Olympic stuff. Maybe something crazy happens. This Markkanen piece still has yet to fall. But the last major piece fell in this offseason. DeMar DeRozan to the Sacramento Kings. I think that's an intriguing, fun-sounding offensive situation. True, you had some concerns about the overall effectiveness of that group with DeMar DeRozan being added.
I wouldn't say so much concerns as it's just I think DeMar DeRozan is going to give you 20, 25 points a night. I think that's something that taking away Harrison Barnes, and replacing him with DeMar DeRozan, I mean, that's a win for Sacramento. I just think on a defensive end, Sacramento does lack someone who can defend, and that's kind of been a part of their problem in general, is that they don't have like a all-world defender on their team. De'Aaron Fox is improving a little bit on the defensive end. Sabonis, obviously, absolutely not. Nothing really to speak of for him defensively. Keegan Murray has his moments, but not really. So I think, to me, DeRozan is just Mike Brown is a defensive-minded coach. So it'll be interesting to see how DeRozan fits. Not that DeRozan's like the worst defender in the world, obviously, but I don't think he adds anything for that defensive side of the ball. But offensively, I mean, you got a great scorer who can get it done from the mid range. He's added a little bit of a 3-point shot to his arsenal when he was in Chicago. He had a little bit, but I think it's a decent fit in terms of value and what he can bring to the team. I don't know if that is what they need to say get out the play in or go to the next level, but you got two clutch guys in DeRozan and Fox who can go out there and, in the fourth quarter. I just think the issue might come in with who's going to take the last shot. That might be the issue there. Which one of them takes the last shot, and but it's still a great move. I don't necessarily think it's a bad move. I just wonder, especially DeRozan's getting older too. He's been in the league for quite some time now. I think like 15, 16 years. So he does bring a veteran presence, but his style is very, very he's very much stuck in his ways, stuck in his style a little bit. So I'm interested to see how it fits. Him and Levine had a similar, it was like kind of a similar big three thing in Chicago a little bit with the with a guard who can go out there and score and very ISO heavy with Zach Levine, and then you had a big who can rebound and can pass, if needed, and can score in Vucevic. So I'm interested to see the dynamic with this one. Obviously, I think Fox is better than Levine, and Sabonis is obviously better than at this point than Vucevic. But I just not gonna say they're like, oh, Western Conference Finals bound or anything like that. But that definitely shouldn't be in the play-in for sure.
So you think, this will elevate them to play-in playoff contention?
Yeah. I don't think I'm not gonna say like, oh, the other year they were third seed. I don't think they'll be third, but I could see a fifth or sixth, maybe fourth. I think that's about right. Once again, I think the formula would be to get some defensive guys, because if there's that night where DeRozan shoots 3 for 16 or 4 for 15, and then Fox might have a rough night too. So if they're both off and the other team catches fire, it's just you in for a rough night. And sometimes with DeRozan, he has these little streaks where he isn't doing his thing like that. And with Fox also has a tendency sometimes, not often, but he's had a couple stretches over the last couple years where he'll have like a bunch of bad games or more so non-effective games. So that's my only concern. But on paper, it's a really nice group of talent. I mean, you got two mid-range, you got two guys who can knock down the mid-range in Fox and DeRozan. You got a big who can get you a double-double, sometimes triple-doubles. Sabonis is a really good passing big. So I think I think it'll be a good. I think it'll be a good team. I just think after what happened this past season for them, they had their struggles. I'm just curious as to they kind of ran it back a little bit and then got rid of some of their. Harrison Barnes. I think they got rid of Davion Mitchell, if I'm not mistaken as well. Davion Mitchell, while he wasn't a offensive guy, he's a defensive guard, and I think he was kind of honestly their best defender on the team overall. Really, when I look at that roster, so unless
They
I'm
got
missing,
Jordan McLaughlin though. Like
who?
he can replace Mitchell. Jordan McLaughlin from the
They picked him up.
Yeah,
They picked him up. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Okay, so I didn't see that. Okay, well, I mean that helps. I don't know how much time he's going to obviously play, but I think with that starting lineup, when it comes down to the playoffs, I think that's going to be where they have the most issues. Once you get to those playoffs, you got to lock in on defense. Fox can do it, some possessions. DeRozan could probably do it some possessions, but just curious to see. But I still like the move. You had to do something, and as long as DeRozan didn't end up going to the Lakers or some shit like that, I'm cool.
Here's my point of view about the move, just very briefly. And Eric could probably attest to this, like being from the area. I saw a tweet. They said the Kings have only been in the playoffs 9 times since 1985.
Yeah.
This is the biggest free agent they've signed in their history. Like last year, the only reason
it could be as far as a free agency signing, yeah.
Only reason they missed the playoffs last year is because Monk and Herter got hurt. And they went on the slide. They won 46 games last year. So they weren't like a terrible team. People are like, they fell off from the 3rd seed. They lost a lot of point production. And then replacing Harrison Barnes with a bona fide 20-point per game scorer in DeRozan, although like people say the defensive metrics said Harrison Barnes was the worst defender in the league last year.
Well, he definitely stinks. Well, he definitely stinks in general. So
yeah,
that's a fact.
DeRozan, he's an improvement over Harry B. Pauls. So you just gotta like Sacramento. This is an upgrade for them, man. Like they're definitely gonna be a playoff team, especially with the Clippers getting worse, with the Nuggets losing their pieces. Like you gotta be aggressive because De'Aaron Fox was like, "Yo, I'm not sure about re-signing. Y'all gotta make something shake. I've been in the playoffs 1 time in 8 years. Like eventually, I'm gonna move on if y'all don't make nothing shake. This is their move. They still got another move to make. I heard they was looking at Kuz and Ingram at one point, but I don't know if that's still like on the table. But
probably not.
Not with unless they get rid of Keegan Murray and Herter. I can't imagine them, and I don't even know if the money will work. So I don't think that's a thing. I don't know who's going after Kuzma, who's going to get Kuzma, because there's not a lot of teams that have space to like. Especially a lot of teams are hard cap. A lot of teams are either under the first and some of them very few right now under the second apron, I think. So there's not a lot of teams that can get Kuzma or get Ingram, and Ingram wants $200+ million. The league right now, the amount of money these players are asking for, the production doesn't necessarily fit some of the numbers. But somebody did point out that Brandon Ingram wants 210, and OG and got 212. And my response to that was OG is, as our brother Tay would say, is generational defender. Or did Tay call him the greatest defender ever? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Is that what you said, Tay?
He's better than Brandon Ingram. I don't even think that.
Yeah,
he's better than Brandon. He should make more than Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, so I feel like if OG could get 212, then I guess Ingram on the surface of scoring points could ask for 200 or something like that. I think Brandon Ingram's like a 140, 150 type of guy over 4-5 years, more so than a 210 4-year, 5-year guy. But that's just me. But you did bring that up though, not to cut you up about DeRozan. And I'll come back to this because I want to hear Tay's take on DeRozan, on a DeRozan signing. But we got to discuss this Ingram thing because I think it's interesting. We can come back to it.
Hey, what's your thought on the DeRozan pickup for the Kings?
It was solid. Well, we all know this team is offensive minded. Which is fine. They got a they got a unicorn of a center. Not really many of them. He can facilitate, run the offense. He's probably the best rebounder in the league.
And you know what else is crazy? I think I brought this up when we were talking our MVP talks. He's top 3 in the league in minutes as well.
I didn't know that.
Sabonis is always out there, always
Iron
there
Man.
for them. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, you got Sabonis out there, one of the best offensive bigs in the league. Then you got De'Aaron Fox. Really showed me something in the playoffs last season. Like, he's a really good point guard, scoring guard. He can easily get you 30. Now, DeMar DeRozan. I like it. It fits for them. They needed like a big move like this because they just would have been the same team as last year, if not worse. They definitely needed something like this just to boost the offense. This is what they do. They're not, every team has identity. Their identity is offense. When they were in the playoffs last year, they were the greatest offense in NBA history, like stats wise, metrics, stuff like that. So, why not go get an offensive minded player? Just boost what and I'm not necessarily concerned about defense. Like, it's kind of hard to find two-way players, like, especially if they don't have the assets or the money to just go out and just get two-way players that would fit their offense. Because you got to be able to score, like, in this offense. That's pretty much. They really want you to be able to score, honestly. But they have some defenders like Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis was one of the best defenders in the league last season. Very underrated. Like, people will start to know more, and like that's why they got rid of Davion Mitchell. They got Keon Ellis, and it was like, oh, okay, he's exactly what we thought Davion Mitchell was. That's why they traded him away. So I do think they have some kind of defense. He's 6'3", so he's not going to be guarding forwards. But guards, yes, definitely. I think Keon Ellis is a really good player. And Devin Carter. They drafted Devin Carter. He just had shoulder surgery. He should be back maybe December, January. He'll definitely miss some time. But another two-way guy in college, his job was just to defend. And as time went on, he started to, develop an offensive game too. So they do have defenders. They're just not. They have guard defenders. I'll put it like that. They don't have like 6'9" wings, which is hard to find. I think that's probably the most valuable thing you can honestly, get in the NBA. But yeah, the Kings have guard defenders, and then I know they're happy they got Malik Monk back. Like, it just fits. DeMar DeRozan fits what they want to do. They want to score. They want to score 150 points a night. They don't care about their defense. They don't care about. They want to just outscore you, let you run up the points, and they want to come back down, score as much as possible, score every time they touch the ball. So, yeah, DeMar DeRozan was the perfect player to get. I don't know if this makes them like, not every move should make you contender, but I think this makes them better, and this makes it points them in the right direction of what they want to do. So I'm not going to be the guy that it doesn't move the needle. It makes them a better team, definitely.
So you talked about how Devin Carter, the draft pick, this pickup. That's what we were going to move to next. Good segue. Who do you guys think won the offseason? Is such a cliched thing to say, but who do you think had the best offseason between the draft and free agency pickups? Who improved themselves the most going into next year?
I got two teams. First one, I'm gonna start off with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I just they didn't really sign anything, honestly, but just their draft alone, like, they traded middle schoolers for Rob Dillingham. And if you watch the Timberwolves, you were like, man, they need another guy that can score. They need a point guard, and they literally did it. Like, I didn't think it would happen this soon. I thought they were gonna run him back, but no, they went out and they traded. He got drafted to the Spurs. They sent them like 2 firsts or something like that in 2097. So yeah, they got Rob Dillingham, and I think that's a great place to go, especially for him because he is 6'1". And this team is defensive minded. Everyone in the team plays defense, and I think he'll fit in just fine. because he is not a defender. Like, I'm sure he'll put in effort, but at the end of the day, 6'1", not really going to be able to do much, going against 6'6" point guards every night. But yeah, just that pick alone, I think that's gonna go a long way. Like, I do think Rob Dillingham is just one of the most crafty players in the league.
Well,
Just alone.
You put Terrence Shannon on top of
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Who,
and then,
if not for the circumstances, is probably a top 3 pick himself. So
right,
added
Terrence
to
Shannon
this
Jr.
team that we all thought might run through the finals. So phenomenal. Yeah, go ahead and tell us.
They improved their bench too with Terrence Shannon Jr. Another, like, they just keep adding to this defense. Terrence Shannon Jr., like, if you watch the tournament, he just popped out to you. Like, he would come down on offense. He had the ball. He would bring the ball down, find his shot, and he was pretty efficient. Then he would come back down on defense and then guard the team's best player at Illinois. But yeah, like, they improved. They improved their bench. They got their point guard of the future. Mike Conley, I guess, keep Mike Conley for one more season. And then after that, it's gonna be the Rob Dillingham show. And the goal is, I think the goal is to have Dillingham better than Karl Anthony Towns. Like, if Dillingham does get to that level, they could. There might be some trades coming soon, but yeah, I definitely do like the Timberwolves offseason a lot. Yeah, they lost Kyle Anderson, which does hurt in certain offenses, like no more 5-out, not no more small ball, which is okay. But I really do like Terrence Shannon Jr. Off the bench, just being a great 2-way player, and then Rob Dillingham.
And then you had another team?
Yes. New York Knicks. Like, no bias. No bias. I think just you watch.
They had a big pickup and they had a great draft pick. Absolutely.
Right. You lose to the Pacers in round 2. And then you look at watch the rest of the playoffs. You see the Celtics. You see what they got going on. They got the best roster in the league. So, if you want to compete with that, you have to copy it. You have to imitate it. Like, that's just how it goes. When a team makes a big 3, most of the time you got to do the same thing. And they don't have a big 3, but I'm just in general, like, you got to kind of copy it and go against it. So yeah, with the Boston's elite starting 5, like, New York, great GM. I don't know. He's very underrated GM. I think he's starting to get his credit now, but just being able to bring back OG and trade for Bridges, like that right there just makes you like one of the best defensive teams in the NBA, like with whoever they're put out with, yeah. And losing Hartenstein, it does hurt, but I'm hearing noise that New York is still looking, for a center. I've heard Walker Kessler, Wendell Carter Jr., Sengun, and from our GM's track record, I wouldn't put it past him. Like, he does make trades every year, off season, during the season. Just last year, he traded for OG mid-season. No, I didn't hear any noise about that. Didn't expect it, but it happened. So, and that was a great trade. That was honestly a great trade. That was the shift of the franchise right there. Getting the greatest defender in NBA history. But yeah, just having this super team of role players, like what I've been like, it's like a joke. Just seeing that, like, New York will be a tough team to beat. They having one of the best benches in the league, having some of the best the best wing defenders in the league. It's like, as a duo, yeah, there's no team has 2 wing defenders better than us. It's not.
You will not disrespect Drew Holiday and Derek White with the ball head.
Any GM in the NBA is taking OG and Bridges.
Olympic team member Derek White with the bald head.
I'm taking OG and Mikal over Derek White and Drew.
What did you say here?
When I saw that the other night, I said, "Uh-oh, Derek White with the bald head. We're good. Going on the Olympic team."
Absolutely.
Yeah, but all 4
the fate of the USA is secured.
Yeah. Yeah, but all 4 of them, they are elite role players. That they are the mode of what you want a role player to be. So, Yeah, just trading for Bridges and re-signing everyone but Hartenstein. You just made New York a scary team, and just trying our best
Facts.
to compete with Boston.
True.
I gotta
What do you
agree.
think? Who
I'm
had the
agreeing.
best offseason? Okay.
I'm agreeing with Tay. No, that doesn't happen extremely a lot on here, but I think from a free agent and trade standpoint, the Knicks absolutely won because they Harden, like I said, Hardenstein is a bit of a loss. He was pretty pivotal for them this year, but you can replace a big when you have guys like that that know their role, and you still have Julius Randle, who at times can be a slightly undersized five. You can go out there. You still have Jalen Brunson. You added Mikal Bridges, and then you brought back OG and on a lengthy contract. So I think they're competing with the Celtics for the best starting five. In the league, and I can't discredit the Knicks at all for what they've done. They were one game away from the conference finals, and they said, "Hey, let's get better." And they went out there and did that. As far as the draft's concerned, absolutely the Timberwolves to me. I can't help but look at the moves they made and just say this is a team that's clearly focused not only on the future but also in the present because they're bringing in young players who can contribute right away, in my opinion. So I think those are the two. My slight bias, if because you mentioned this earlier, this Lauri Markkanen thing. I have some conversations with people over there in Warriors land, like reporters and a couple of the people that I've talked to over the last 6 months, and I kind of keep up with them a little bit. And from what I'm hearing, the Utah Jazz literally just stringing this offer along from the Warriors to get 1 to 2 more picks. The owner, the Utah owner, is notoriously cheap. He does not want to actually pay Lauri Markkanen upwards of $40 million. I know it's August 6th when they can extend him, I believe, and I think that's what Lauri's looking for is like in the 45 million dollar a year range. Whereas Golden State, if they're able to reach this agreement, is finalized, they don't seem to have a problem with paying. I don't think Lauri is worth 45, but he did score 23 points, had 8 rebounds, and he can shoot, upwards of 35, 36, 37% from three. So if the Warriors actually do pull off this deal in the next couple weeks or so, which is the feeling around the Warriors circle is that they will pull off this deal, I would say they would also be a slight winner of the offseason because to lose Klay Thompson and then Chris Paul, not that Chris Paul was somebody you really care
Addition
about
by
losing, but
subtraction is what you're saying.
yeah, if you lose Klay Thompson and Chris Paul, but you can add in the only other person that has more threes or just as many threes is Steph Curry in the last 5 seasons and Buddy Hield, who is probably better suited off ball anyway than trying to create offense, and DeAnthony Melton, who when healthy is a pretty solid defensive guard, and he's a decent shooter. He's not much of a, obviously not too big of an offensive creator himself, but it's the Warriors system. It doesn't matter. And Kyle Anderson, who is a really good all-around player too, he definitely fit well with the second unit. So I think for what they lost, the Warriors can make up for it, especially if they don't end up trading, say, a Kuminga or somebody like that in the Lauri Markkanen potential trade, which I'm hearing Kuminga's not even on the table because Kuminga is due for an extension himself. In Utah, once again, very cheap. Don't want to take him on, and they don't want to take on Wiggins. So you could possibly see a Gary Payton, Kevon Looney, Moses Moody, and like 5 or 6 picks, which to some people is like, oh, that's not enough. But when you look at the other trades that have happened, Lauri Markkanen only makes $18 million a year. They just have to make the numbers work. So if they can do that, and speaking of the Knicks too, I actually think the Walker Kessler thing is probably going to happen for the Knicks personally. Just like I said, based on little stuff I'm hearing, I think Walker Kessler is a fairly cheap option. Unfortunately, the problem with Utah Jazz, they're trying to find their next star in the draft. They are absolutely trying to find stars and build in the draft because they know they're not going to compete. So
You know they
people
want
should be on the
Cooper
look.
Flag. You already know. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, look, that fits perfect for Utah. You look at look, and the aesthetic. He's everything they want, and it's like if you give her the Larry Markkanen and you potentially get Jordan Clarkson's and your Colin, your Collins can go. If that happens, they're going to try to rebuild through the draft and try to do it. Kind of do it like a Celtics did with your Tatum's, your your Jaylen Browns, and find their two stars through the draft, or like the Warriors did prior with Steph, Clay, Draymond, and all that. Everybody's slowly trying to build the next star group, and I think Utah is focused on the draft and getting rid of Lloyd Markkanen and Walker Kessler makes it very easy for you to suck as a team going into the season. So, like I said, I'm 90% sure, unless Dunleavy drops the ball or acts like he's too scared to add another pick or two, which the Warriors, they're going to suck after Steph leaves. They probably could still suck in the next coming year or two either way. Putting another 20-point score next to Steph would help the Warriors immensely, especially if Kuminga continued to take a leap. So that's why it's contingent on that trade going through and them keeping Kuminga. I say the Warriors could be a winner of the offseason, at least more so than other teams in the West. I don't think the Lakers
team, brother, man.
That's not a playing team with Lloyd Markkanen on it.
I'm just saying as currently constructed.
Oh no, currently constructed. Yeah, but if they add, like I said, if they add Lloyd Markkanen and you still got Buddy Hield who can hit the three, the Warriors' success. When we look at that 2022 team, Steph's a little older, so it's a little different, and Draymond's a little older. But the role that Kuminga had is kind of the role that Wiggins should have had after 2022. I think Wiggins also. I don't know what the deal with Wiggins is. I think they want to trade his contract. There was talk about trying to finagle a Larry Markkanen and a Brandon Ingram. The money doesn't fit though. The money really don't fit. So I can't see them unless they get rid of Kuminga. And even I don't think a Larry Markkanen and Brandon Ingram without a scoring guard, a shooter, another shooter there. So I'm going to put Buddy Hield in the starting lineup or something like that next to stuff. I don't know. I just think right now that they absolutely are a playing team without doing anything else. But add another 20-point score to Steph. Like I said, I don't think the Lakers are going to be much better than they were. The Clippers got worse. So I think there is a chance if the Warriors get Lauri Markkanen to be in that, that top 6-ish, or 7, at least in the play-in with Lauri Markkanen, depending on how healthy he stays. I'm trying to think.
Memphis is coming back.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. My bad. How did I forget? The team in the West that I think besides Minnesota got immensely better. And speaking of Hartenstein, Oklahoma City Thunder. Absolutely. Because they didn't need to do too much. And
the things they did do were perfect.
Perfect. You're literally right there. And I heard somebody say, I saw somebody talking about it, said Dallas. And I agree, Dallas did get like a little bit better. I'm just not on the Klay Thompson's going to fit perfectly there thing. And just because he's saying all the right things, but I watched Klay these last 3 or 4 years. I just don't believe he's going to be okay mentally once he has that 0 for 7 night or that 1 for 10 night. And it's too mental. So I don't know. And I think if he's weighing himself down, his attitude could weigh down the team too. So I'm not fully sold on that. But I think the other
Marshall and Grimes are good pickups.
I was gonna say Marshall and Grimes are good pickups. I still, like I said, I still don't see them as winners of the offseason. I think they've improved though. I think they've absolutely improved a little bit. And I'm curious to see what a full season looks like, because they had their struggles early on last season, and then they finally got together. And Kyrie was, had some troubles and stuff. But I think Oklahoma City in the West, I feel like they're going to be number 1 in the West this year again. But X, I think you said Denver. I don't know if it was you, Ted. Like Denver. No, it was you because you said the Clippers got worse and Denver. I think Denver's a interesting situation because Jamal Murray hasn't signed like another extension too, so that could also linger a little bit with their team. So, and I think this is one thing we don't talk about a lot is that contracts, these extensions, free agency, that plays a huge crucial role for most teams. Like it's a mental thing for a lot of players. People are trying to go out there and do that and do what they can to get that extra big contract. And I'm curious to see, Jamal Murray did not have the best year last year either. And I'm just kind of curious to see, if he comes back with a vengeance or, maybe his injury history, starts to catch up with him a little bit again. So I'm watching the West from with an interested eye because there's still moves to be made. There's still players on the move. And the Pelicans, depending on what
that was
else
gonna
they
be
do.
a team I mentioned. Like,
oh yeah, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, X. Who won the offseason in your opinion?
Yeah, as far as the West, I'm gonna definitely say the Pelicans. Really like the Murray pickup. I don't know what's going on with Ingram, but like I don't envision him there by the start of the season. I like the Daniel Tice pickup too. They needed a center that could stretch the floor. So him alongside Zion gives him enough floor spacing. So he was probably the best floor spacing big that was available in the market. I'm expecting the young players to take a leap. Trey Murphy, Jordan Hawkins, Herb Jones. Alvarado's probably going to play well coming off his Olympic stint. So they just got a lot of young talent. Like, I'm really expecting them to do well. And as far as the East, I like what Orlando did outside of one move. I like the KCP pickup. They needed the shooting. I like them re-signing Franz Wagner. People felt like he's overpaid, but he's coming off a season where he averaged 20 points, 5 boards, and 4 assists. Like he's improving.
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask you guys both on here or in the group chat or something like that. Is Franz Wagner really that nice like that?
Can't shoot.
He's above average.
He's a good player, but
that's
270.
The answer is no.
270.
That's 2
Like
the answer is no.
Like we'll see what it's like at the end of the contract. He can improve, but what if he averages like 25 a game?
Yeah, but if he can't shoot, it doesn't like he cannot shoot at all. It doesn't matter. Like he can raise his points level, but then like he's gonna need to improve his 3-point percentage, or the Magic will never win at all. He can't shoot.
That's a fact. Their best
like,
shooter is KCP
he went
right now.
11 like in the playoff. Like, you remember that, right? Like he didn't score at all. He can't shoot.
I dig it.
That's the thing.
Stank.
And it hurts.
Niggas stank.
This team already can't shoot, and your second best player can't shoot. That's even worse. Like,
270 for a guy that can't shoot is crazy.
God damn.
I'm sorry.
I just wish that they would have signed Tyus Jones because they need a point guard, but
absolutely
I guess
a point guard.
Huh?
The Tyus get signed?
He hasn't signed yet. But
I'm trying to figure out like where would he be a good fit?
Anywhere. Honestly.
Like what team doesn't have? I'm trying to think of what team doesn't have a point guard. I mean, I guess he gonna be a backup anyway. But just trying to think.
And I think Memphis had a good draft too. Like initially, I was kind of skeptical of Edey, but his conditioning and mobility looks really good. So I'm like, man, them screens he was setting, like, Ja coming off those screens, shit.
Okay, a little bit of a outsider pick. We will be taking this all under consideration moving into summer ball, moving into the rest of the off season. We might give you guys a quick video if the Markkanen deal does go down. But other than that, we'll be back with divisional previews and see how all of this ends up gelling together. Give us some time to research. Give them some time to think about it. If you're on the page here, please throw us a sub. Earlier on this week, we dropped a NFL NFC North preview. Be looking out for the rest of our NFL coverage coming up next week. Of course, me and True every week getting a barrel of laughs on Weekend Wrestling. I've got some funny stuff to talk about. I've been having some interesting conversations. Did you know, True, that if you put somebody on one show, then that means that you built them as a star? That's a proof that you can build stars. That's what I was told today.
I did not know that.
I was told that today. Stephanie Vacker, she had never done anything before that show. It's an AEW homegrown built star. Anyways, so we'll be having fun on Weekend Wrestling. Next week, we're going to be having some EA college football video game coverage, finally breaking into video games. We're super excited for that. I will have the early access. I will have played it. We may or may not have a big time guest coming on for that show. It's going to be a ton of fun, rocking nostalgia, some older generation talking about playing the game way back when. Tay, a younger guy, a gamer, talking about what it means to him getting a new game. Tay, how old were you when the last one came out?
12, 11.
Okay. Did you used to play NCAA?
Yeah, I played, but it was like
You used to
playing
play against
around.
each other.
Yeah, like I wasn't nice at all. Not even.
Okay,
close.
so
Yeah.
so you're going to be digging in this year. Then how? Now you get to
Stakes
join the rest
different
of us.
now.
It's the gateway to adulthood. Loving this game. I love it. So we'll be having, that'll be a blast. That video will be awesome next week. We'll have that for you. So, and possibly a few other projects that we've got bubbling that we're discussing behind the scenes. All that and more. And that is because the world of DAR never stops.